What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. We are 2 hours into the day here, 2 hours, 10 minutes into the day on the 12th of April. Yesterday, closing the price at about 4.8% to the upside, $83,400 approximately, closing there with a nice bullish engulfing candle on yesterday's negative price action, getting above the 50 on the daily RSI, building some good things here. I want to start off on the 1 hour and just build from there and look ahead afterwards. Okay, so if we're looking at this on a 1 hour basis, we do have a high here, a bit of a double top right here, moving up, volumes dying off. We might pull back today. We may continue to grow inevitably, and I think that we will. But today might be a little bit of a pullback day, if not at least the first half of the day or so. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin pulled back down to about 82K. We're at 83.2K now, so nothing drastic. 82K, maybe 80,000 itself, 80,600, something like that. What we're looking for ultimately, you guys, one second. What we're looking for ultimately is a move that will take us above 96.5K. And I mean, really 88K is what we need, I think, to validate this as a low. Everybody says different things, right? There's a lot of people who say 91K, 86K, 96.5K, I think is the biggest kind of deal to break above, is 96 to 96.5K. Maybe no set price specifically, but something in that zone. And 91K is a big deal as well. Closing above this daily high close is a very big deal. But I think that relative to this most recent move that we had from a high here to this low, closing above the 886 here at about 87,000, that's probably the biggest deal. Or even just getting above this high here at about 88, 89,000. So something in that area, 87K will validate, at least in my opinion, will validate this as a low. We haven't done it yet, but with yesterday's close, with the bullish close that we had, the bullish engulfing candle here, closing above the golden ratio as well, that's two positive things. Closing above the 50, that's three positive things. And I think we'll continue this positive price action over the days to come, over the weeks to come, and not just get above 87,000, 88,000, but get above our all-time high areas too, getting above like $109,000, going up towards prices that are almost at $200,000, if not even a little bit less than that by the end of June. That's the expectation. I got a little bit ahead of myself here. I want to go back to the 1 hour time frame and just look at this real quick. So yeah, it looks like we could move down a little bit. The 4 hour RSI also suggesting that we could see a little bit of a pullback from here, but again, nothing too dramatic, at least not what I would expect. Again, we don't know if we found the low or not yet, and it is completely fair to at least call for or be prepared for something that is lower than these lows, something at 72K, $70,000 itself, maybe a little bit above there, maybe a little bit below there, but something in that like $73,000 to $70,000 zone I think is acceptable if Bitcoin decides to do so. But I don't think that it will. I think that right here what we're doing is we're showing some productivity. We found a high, a higher low, and now a higher high. We do seem to be forming an uptrend. So as far as I'm concerned, we can move down from here. If we're holding above, really I'd like to say 80K. If we're holding above 80K, I think we're fine. Okay, but truthfully, until we close above about 87, 88,000 on a daily basis, till we close up around here somewhere on a daily basis, it's not completely valid that this is a low yet, but I do like this as a low. It is a nice double bottom after all. The RSI on the 4 hour looks great. The daily is starting to shape. The 1 hour, even overall, it actually does look pretty good. It's just relatively speaking, we might see a little bit of a break. So don't get scared of any short-term, very minor volatility. I don't think anybody will. But also just hold your horses if we don't move today. I'm sure we'll be moving in a very, very short amount of time here. Going back out to the daily, looking ahead now, if we're taking this overall high, the all-time high, to our most relative low, this double bottom here, from a high to a low, I suppose our next target area would be at about 86.2K, the 382. It's very common with the first interaction on the 382, and this would be the first interaction. These are not the first interactions back here, right? Because again, from the high here all the way to this low, this is your move down. This now is the retracement up of this move. So this will be your first interaction with the 382. It's very common with the 382 to not just hit it and find resistance, but to actually wick a little bit above it and then close below it. So if the 382 is at 86.2K, I'd say a little bit above there might be the expectation, 87K, 88K. And again, we're looking for a close above 87K, above 88K. That'll validate this as a low, but it's not a problem if we come up here, we find some resistance, and then we inevitably come up to close it, right? It's very, very common. I want to be clear, very common with the 382 to come up, wick above it, come down and close right below it. You move down, you find support at the 236, and then you continue to rise from there, go into your golden ratio, where you likely will find resistance. You'll find support back around here, and then you'll continue to build something like this, right? We're looking for a nice stair-stepping kind of maneuver coming out of this. Now, that's a very possible outcome, and it's a pretty standard setup what I've just drawn here as far as like fib expectations go. You go from the 382 area back to the 236 area, golden ratio area, and then stair step from there. New resistance here, prior resistance becomes support based off the fibs. That's kind of what we do. We could do something else, which also Bitcoin likes to do sometimes, and that is just tear right through the roof. And we don't stop at all these stops. Perhaps what we do is we go through the golden ratio on the first attempt. We find resistance somewhere in this area, and then we come back to find support here, and we just skip all the in-between steps coming up. Something like that could happen. It could be a lot faster of a pace, and we could, and I think that we will inevitably see new all-time highs based off of this endeavor, whatever it may look like. The call at the moment is to see Bitcoin at about $111,000 by the end of April. That's been the call since the 1st. It's the 12th now, so about halfway through the month, and I feel pretty confident with that, pretty comfortable with that. I know we're only at $83,000 right now, but it doesn't take a lot of time for Bitcoin to move up. After all, if we look at this low here from November 4th, we just go to the high there on November 13th. That's 9 days later, my friends, from the current price. And I'm not going just low to high. I'm just talking about the majority of this move, right? The technical, the end of this high was over here, but just you in a 9-day period, you saw this much of a move. How much would that put us? 9 days from here. 9 days from here, we'd be at about 116K. It's the 12th now. We've got more than 9 days left in the month. All I'm trying to say is 111K. We're in good shape for it. It's definitely not out of the question. And if we do begin our move up here, if this next phase is starting here, we might break away from this downtrend that we've been in. We might see a little pop, something like this. And I'm not saying it has to happen today, but I am expecting it to this next phase up overall to commence at some point in April, probably in the later bits of April, which we're getting to. Inevitably, I think May will also be prosperous. I'm not assuming that our path is going to be a straight line all the way up. On a week-to-week basis, it might seem more like a straight line. Day-to-day basis, it won't be. But I do think that it will be a multi-month path going into the end of May, end of June, that we see targets somewhere around $170,000 to $200,000. It's very common for Bitcoin, and it's something kind of new that I'm familiar with, is that the 1618, you actually do oftentimes go just a little bit above there. For Bitcoin specifically, the 1618, you go just a little bit above it. So seeing 174K right there at that 1618 does make me think that we could see a $180,000 target, even just above. I know that this is a big jump going from 174K to 200,000, but I mean, even this, just relative to the chart, that's not that far above it. I could see Bitcoin reaching but not hitting $200,000, if not certainly breaking above 170K by the end of this move, of which we're expecting to take full effect by the end of June. Now, it could happen faster. It is possible, but let's kind of go over how Bitcoin's moved throughout this whole time frame, right? And let's actually keep this up here. Let's see. We can just delete the fib, right? Something like this. One second. All right. So if we're looking at this move here, this movement here, from a low to a high, and I'm just going for the move itself, maybe not from the overall low, but from where the move began to where it ends. And I think the move ends here. You could argue that it ended here, but I think the majority of the move happened here and it ended right there. So that's a 46% move. We go to this next move, low to high here, and maybe it ended here. I don't know, whatever you want to say. It's 47%, 55%, whatever. All right, it could be 47%. It's still bigger than the last move, but we're just going to say 58% for all intents and purposes there. The move didn't start here at this low. I would say that it actually started at this low, and it didn't end at this high. I would say it actually ended at this high. And this one, it did begin at the low, ended right there at the relative high. Here, again, didn't start at the low. I hope it's obvious as to why I'm not calling this move the beginning of the move up. I think this is a more suitable beginning for this move up here, and it ended back over here. And the majority of the move even happened, I would say, in this kind of amount of time. But regardless of what you want to say, whether it's a 90% move, 106% move, whatever, the moves are getting bigger progressively as the cycle continues, okay? They're definitely getting bigger as the cycle continues. And what I'm expecting is that this next move will be the biggest move that we've seen all cycle, okay? Assuming the move the move, which might be starting now. It might not start now. Sometimes it doesn't start at the absolute low. Sometimes it takes a couple weeks afterwards. You might build higher, but the majority of the move starts happening weeks later. But let's say it does start here, 106% from here. That puts us at about $155,000. A little bit above 106% would put us at $155,000. If we were to see a 10% jump like we did last time, that would put us at about 116%. And that's at about 161K. If we don't hit 170K, you guys, it's very possible, and I don't think that we stop anywhere less than 170K personally, but it's very possible that we could stop. I mean, maybe this fib actually doesn't do a good representation of that, because it's like we're either going to stop here, it's going to be a smaller move than the last move, or it's going to be phenomenally higher, and I think it will be phenomenally higher. There's a lot more doubt and fear surrounding this moment in Bitcoin than there was in this kind of last consolidation phase, but I digress. Maybe it's this fib here from the high to the low. Okay, here we go. So the 1886 to 200 area, that's at about 150 to 160K. We could see something like that. I'm not saying we have to go above 170K, though I really do think that's the likelihood. I do think Bitcoin sees prices above 180K by the end of this next endeavor. But very possible we could stop at 140K, 150K, 60, whatever, anything and everything in between. But I'm feeling about 180, 170, if not higher than that by the end of this next move. If we look back here, and actually we take into consideration how long all these moves took, right? Let's just see. I should have drawn the date line and the percentages, but let's just finish this up real quick. From this last move, if we started here, I mean, that would put us at the end of July, just to show how long these moves can take. Maybe it's the end of July, maybe that's whenever it happens. I'm not thinking so, though. I think it'll be the end of June. Here, this move in the same kind of time frame would be end of May. This move here, same thing, would actually be end of May or beginning of June. These moves are smaller as far as time goes, so I don't need to throw those on there. But likely we see something that is, I wouldn't think at the end of July. I don't think that it takes this long. I think we'll pick up the pace a little bit sooner and see something a little bit more robust than what we've seen over the last few moves. But ultimately something between the end of May and I guess the end of July could be considered. But truthfully, I think that it'll be the end of June that we see this move come to full maturity. But we'll know sooner or later. By the end of this month, I'm sure we'll have a better expectation of timing on this, okay? From a weekly time frame on the RSI, if we notice here, the last time that you found your lows, the last time you're at your low areas in this consolidation phase, you're at this area here in the RSI, an area that you're at right now, double bottoming off of. The area that you're at before when you found your low here as well, you're at your lows right before ripping to the upside. So I think that we have a lot of promise, a lot of aspirations to the upside. There's a lot of things, indicators and sentiment all around that is kind of shifting in the markets. You're not going to see it if you're looking at is Onyx Coin at 2.5 cents right now? Is that real, or is that an update from earlier and it didn't load? I'm gonna guess it didn't load back up because I just opened up my computer. Let's see what's this. Let's see what Onyx Coin is doing while we're waiting for Coin Market Cap to load. No, it's not at 2.5. Okay, well this is taking forever, so we're gonna refresh it. Yes, and then we'll bring it back here. What was it that I was even doing? The Crypto Fear and Greed Index, right? If you're looking at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, 27 on the fear side, I don't think this represents the crypto markets accurately. I think that the majority, if not at least, it's a 50-50 split between bulls and bears here. I think there are a lot of bulls. I don't think this accurately represents the crypto market. So if you're looking at this and thinking people are fearful right now, I would say that that's not the case. I think the sentiment has shifted. I think that we are bullish right now, sentiment-wise. We're also bullish from a charting perspective, having interacted with our prior high areas here, and then, of course, from an indicator perspective on our RSI. Just wanted to complete the thought there. I don't think I have anything else that I want to say. Weekly RSI looks good. 3-day RSI also looks good. A little bit constructive here, breaking out of this downtrend. The daily RSI has broken out of its downtrend effectively and closed above the 50 here. We're looking to confirm this low if we close above 87K. 4-hour looks good. 1 hour looks good, but might call for a little bit of downside just to start the day off. So even if we finish the day red, it's fine. But I do believe over the days to come, over the weeks to come, over the months to come, we're on an inevitable path that will take us to $170,000 or higher. And we'll just see how all that goes. So that's all I got for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.